Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about The Story of Mathematics by Rooney. Yeah, I didn't find my shirt, so I just threw on a blanket. I'm kind of not feeling the best anyway, so it doesn't matter, it's still showtime. It's time to talk about Greg Huffman's book report on the story of mathematics. Anne Rooney's The Story of Mathematics. And so far I'm at about, what page is it, 134? And then it's a story about algebra. Like, there's this one guy named Francois Viette. And one thing I'm confused about, just because it talks, this is my notes. You can see where I'm in my, this is what my notes are. And I'm talking about this guy, Robert Record, or Robert. It says he's going to use these GIMO lines. I don't know what the GIMOs are, but 5057 he came up with the equal sign, and he says that there's nothing more equal than a pair of parallel lines, except those lines don't look very equal because I'm not good at that. But yeah, I've been making notes. But so there's this guy, and then there's also, I don't know if it's on here. Anyway, this guy. It's either him or Rene Descartes who came up with the X, and like symbols, variables in algebra, and it wasn't very clear about which one. Because let me go back actually a few. I'm gonna use this as a bookmark because I can't find my bookmark right offhand. Girolamo Cardano. He's very interesting. We might talk about him a little bit. See right here. If you look here, where they say for different quantities for. Oh, they don't have John Wallis in here. I think is it 1655? John Wallis came up with the infinity sign. Yeah, multiply William outright. This is kind of a cool thing here, though. But it says right here, for known quantities and for unknown quantities, variables, Rene Descartes. But then later goes on to talk about, in the Francois Viette one, that seems to contradict that. Whatever. And anyway, it talks about Robert Record's life. Which one? There's one guy had an interesting... Oh, yeah. So... this goddamn stuff. Let's go back. Look at this guy's not. What the hell? This guy's got some fucking exophthalmos issues. Wait, where's goddamn it? Jeez, now I can't even find it. Some of it. Wait, is it Gerald? Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Girolamo Cardano, man, he had an interesting life. Look at this guy. Oh, you came professor, but he was an illegitimate child of Fazio Cardano, friend of Leonardo da Vinci, and his three siblings died of the plague. Man, his mom tried to abort him, and then like he says his favorite son, he was executed because he poisoned his wife, man, and then he committed suicide. Eventually. He tried to calculate the horoscope of Jesus. Jeez. And then, like, he's a real fucking Eddie Guerrero over here. Like, his treatment of probability, which he applied to gaming, includes a section on how to cheat effectively. Such Eddie Guerrero moment. Yeah. Modern day mathematical Eddie Guerrero. I was actually watching wrestling again the other day. I got Peacock. Alright. So, let me think about what I'm going to talk about else on this book. The one interesting thing about, I like the beginning, I think, in this book more than as it goes on, because the beginning, it tells the story of math, and then it gets more specialized, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I hate quadratic equations. Look like a calculator just puked all over a piece of paper, and we had to, I had to fucking fix that shit. Not a big fan of that shit. But simple arithmetic, algebra, don't mind. Was it algebra as Al-Khwarizmi or something? Talk about him. The guy that started logarithms. Oh, shit, that's not him. What was his goddamn name? He's tied in with another guy too. God damn it. I know. What don't matter. Anyway, the beginning of math. Like it talks about how Hindu Arabic numerals got to Europe or the Western world, however you want to say, and it was in like 976. Did I write down the exact date? Yeah, I don't think I wrote the exact date on here, but in the late 1900s, it got there. It was codified in Spain by, probably the Moors, I would imagine, because it says, Arab or Islamic influences, the golden age of, all that. And I thought it was interesting because in 711 AD is when the Moors invaded Spain. So it must have been how Hindu Arabic numerals got to the Western world is through the Moors invasion, which is famously talked about in the famous scene in A True Romance. If you haven't seen that, look that up. The Moors invasion of the Sicilians. True Romance. Let's see. Oh yeah, and we got how it talks about how we got 0, which I was like, I think I heard like conflicting things, and here it kind of clarifies it a little bit. So the Western world got it through India, through Brahmagupta. And it has a specialized name in his book, Brahmagupta, whatever, don't matter. But the Mayans apparently had a 0 even further back, and they represent it with like a clamshell symbol. Should I just try to... What if I should go to my notes on any of these? The Ars Magna is like a book by Girolamo Cardano. That's the one I was reading about recently. Girolamo Cardano. He actually talked about probability before. Says 100 years before. Who's that one guy that does the Pascal's Wager? Blaise Pascal. But it says even before Blaise Pascal was doing his probability talks, Girolamo Cardano was doing his. And oh yeah, so I didn't talk. I should mention something about the golden age of Islam, not Islam. Well, I guess you could say Islam, the Arabic world. This guy named Al-Mamun had a dream. The Caliph had a dream in which Aristotle appeared to him. Thusly ordered translations of all the Greek texts. Now, I'm wondering, it doesn't say specifically how, I want to know how much, if somebody knows, and sees this video perhaps, of why, or how much influence he had on all the translations that happened, because that was an important moment. It saved, a lot of literature of the old Greeks, as this, how, their copies being made in Arabic. So I just don't know how much of it seems to have had at least a massive influence, so they won't even talk about it. But I just don't know if that, like, without this dream, if we would have lost, what works we would have lost. Let's see if there's anything else I can mention in here. They talk about the algorithms versus the abacus. What's interesting is they said up until the 1920s, you had to, in London, accountants had to have God damn it! And up until the 1920s in London, if you worked as an accountant, you had to know how to use an abacus, which I thought was pretty interesting. Let's see, is there anything else? I mean, there's some stuff I'm gonna go over, but they talk about Carl Gauss, I believe, Gauss. If that's the guy I'm talking about, thinking about, my friend Alex, who works for NASA, he said he's more important than most people give him credit for. If that's the guy I'm thinking about, it might be somebody completely different, but if it's the guy I'm thinking of, he says this guy, doesn't get, you just fucking circle, he's more important than fucking Einstein, all that shit, just Carl Gauss. But that's only if that's the guy I'm thinking of. He said to do that, just all the important contributions he had. Then there's this whole thing. Let me go ahead and go to this part in the book. Stifle. God damn it, I need to save this thing though. Wait, Bob Saget. Right there. Let's save that there. I gotta remember where I am on this. And so there's like Omar Khayyam. He did some important shit. But there's one thing, and you see all these equations. Luckily, I'm not a big fan of actually doing the math. I just like learning the history of the shit. What do they call this? They have like a word for these like triangles. Is there Pascal triangle is one of them, or Yang Hui? They might talk about it. Anyway, there's one story in particular I was wanting to show off if I can find it. It's the story. Is it on here? Yeah, there's this whole cool story about how like these people got Girolamo Cardano worked up it goes back to Scipio del Ferro, but I don't really understand like the fucking what is that called? When you have the MacGuffin, it's almost like the MacGuffin of it. Niccolo Tartaglia independently discovered the solution of like cubics, and he disclosed it to Cardano, and then Cardano realized more people had found it. He didn't want to talk about it, but then he ended up publishing it, and he's like, "Bitch, I wanted to publish that shit." But yeah, to get into all that, I don't know. It's like too confusing me to even fucking go over it. Let's go to the pages. Let's jump into these pages I want to show. It's on page 17, so you can see all kind of what's all in. There's the Khwarizmi. He's the name that's named after exponents. What the shit is that? Khwarizmi algorithms and all that. And he invented algebra, I think. So you can see all this cool shit. Look at all this shit. This is cool illustrations and stuff. Who's this fool? Oh, that's that Francois Viette guy. Okay, let's go to page. See, there's some charts and shit. See page 17, top right. Oh yeah, so see, here's like the more modernized numbers. Mesopotamia. First, there's certain Hindu numbers. Now it says if you look, you can kind of see how the things get like that. You can see how that becomes a 3. You just put a line through it. Put a line through that. And then 4, you put a line through it. You know, it looks like modern, shit. Alright, and here it's top 9 on page 19. The Mayans had a 0 represented by the shell glyph. And then that's supposed to be their 0, the Mayan 0. It's very interesting. I would not want to have to write that a bunch of times. Alright, oh yeah, and here's a good one to end on. Oh yeah, because, and here's this probably important document. Hypatia of Alexandria. That's what I named my middle name of my daughter. I've named after Hypatia. So I think that's pretty cool. She worked at the Library of Alexandria. She was a daughter of Theon of Alexandria, and it says his works are actually how we get surviving versions of Euclid's The Elements. Oh yeah, who's that guy that has the Almagast? That's an interesting one too. Ptolemy the Elder, I think. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to communicate history and math very well, but anyway, if you think this book looks like it's for you, by all means get it. Like I said, the beginning, it starts out, oh yeah, this is one of those Penrose triangle. It's what they call that, a Penrose triangle. They have a little, it's like the Rubens vase and how shit. And then this is in Perth. I have friends in Perth, Australia. Shout out to Jess Snadden. I probably said that wrong. Snaden. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to sign off now. Peace. Oh, wait. This is right here on this page. I wasn't going to talk about this, but my friend Brandell, I was actually talking to him earlier today, Brandell Elmore. This is Flatland. He was the one that told me about this one. He was the one that introduced me to this book.